Good afternoon, everyone. It's David Porter, and today I want to talk about a self-protection device called the MACE Pepper Gun. Now, this is not a firearm. This is a delivery system for OC, or Oleoresin Capsicum. It has the frame of a semi-automatic firearm, so the mechanics of operating it are going to be very similar. And the way this works is you have a barrel which breaks open. You have the release right there, and you're going to push on that release, and the barrel breaks open. And what goes in here is this: a canister of pressurized OC, which is Oleoresin Capsicum. This goes in here, and then you close it up, and there's a safety, an ambidextrous safety right here. The safety can be operated by either thumb, and once the safety is off, it's ready to fire. Now, I am going to remove the canister for safety, and by the way, this is always a good habit. If you're not familiar with firearms, always index the trigger. Lay your finger alongside the trigger guard. Never in here, inside the trigger guard, until you're ready to fire, or in this case, release the OC. The slightest touch on the trigger, and you can see the aperture here where the pepper spray would come out of, and the slightest touch on the trigger is going to activate an LED light. And you press it again, and there's a strobing effect. Now, the purpose of the LED light on the end here is twofold. First, that is to illuminate your target. Let's say you were carrying this walking at night, or worst case scenario, you have an intruder in your home at night. You have the means to illuminate them, and this is also a very bright LED light. This will temporarily blind someone, take away their night vision, and theoretically, the idea of the strobe is it's disorienting. That's debatable. So this is a very low-cost alternative to carrying a firearm. This is classified as a less than lethal weapon. It is available. I got this on Amazon for about $35, and you can carry this pretty much any place you can carry pepper spray. So again, the legality is going to be different from one state to the next. It depends on what laws are in place in your jurisdiction, in your state, which dictate whether you can carry this and where you can carry it. Generally speaking, you cannot bring pepper spray or a firearm or any type of weapon in a federal building, and that would include things like post offices, banks, and of course federal court. So you want to check the laws in your state before purchasing anything like this and before carrying it. Amazon may also not be able to ship this to some states. So it's very simple to operate, and also it does come with two test canisters of water, and you can purchase additional test canisters or practice canisters. And I've tried them before with the water canisters, and this has a pretty tight stream and a range of approximately, I'm going to say 15 to 20 feet. And there is a rail on top where if you wanted to, you could mount sights, and you could put a laser sight on here. It's a question of how much you want to tack it out, as in tactical. I personally don't see a lot of that stuff as necessary. I think it's just for show. That's my take on it. Um, now, the couple other considerations is this looks like a gun to the untrained, uninitiated, or somebody in dim, or if you're in dim light, or if this is the only part of it that's exposed. Say you're carrying it in a holster, it will look very much like you are carrying a firearm. So that's a consideration too. If you pull this out and point it at someone, they may think that you are pointing a firearm at them. That can escalate or de-escalate a situation. Um, Obviously, there's a very prominent orange front end to the barrel, which will indicate that this is not a firearm. Someone may think it's a taser. Someone asked me before if this was a flare gun. No, I will definitely not be carrying a flare gun for self-defense. I don't see that as being effective or necessary or appropriate for self-defense. I don't know. You can fire the flare gun in the air to get help. This is a alternative to a firearm. It is classified as less than lethal, meaning that there's a low probability that someone will die if you pepper spray them. It's possible. It's possible. But the probability is low. Someone gets hit by a stream of pepper spray, and as I said in my other video on pepper spray, they have COPD, they have emphysema, they have asthma. There's a possibility that they could experience a degree of respiratory distress that would be life-threatening. Well, here's another consideration. If you have respiratory problems like the aforementioned COPD and emphysema or asthma, don't rob, mug, or rape people, and then you don't have to worry about getting pepper sprayed. That's also an alternative to consider. Just know that, unfortunately, in today's world where the victim of a crime is still very much an afterthought, if you have to use something like this on a bad guy, there could be consequences for it. Never point anything like this at someone unless you are fully prepared to use it, and never hit somebody with OC unless you feel like you are in danger. You cannot spray somebody if they have hurt your feelings, if they have scared you, if they have annoyed you, if if uh, if they have insulted you. You That's not justifiable. The use of pepper spray or any other weapon is only justified if you feel like your life is in danger. And different states have different laws regarding self-defense. Castle Doctrine versus Stand Your Ground. The similar, but details can be different on the Make My Day law versus the well, I think that's it. Castle Doctrine, Make My Day, or Stand Your Ground versus states that have duty to retreat versus states that have very vague definitions of self-defense. So you want to really think calm in a manner of calm reflection before you're in that situation as to what you're willing to do and the potential consequences of your actions. You're probably going to need to be able to articulate justification for why you pepper sprayed someone. So it's got to be a situation where you felt your life was in danger. Okay, so those are my thoughts on the MACE Pepper Gun. Again, available on Amazon for about $35. It is not a firearm. It is a pepper spray delivery system. I keep putting this right here in front of my face. This would probably be better if I held it over here. Now it looks like I'm pointing it at my own head. This is a pepper spray delivery system, and it is an alternative to a firearm. Just a little something to put in between you and the bad guys. So thank you for watching. And one last thing. This is also a great platform for developing muscle memory for firearms practice, because you can also buy basically they're fake guns or solid plastic guns. Some are solid plastic or rubber, some have moving parts, and they're designed for training, for developing muscle memory, for drawing a weapon, for holstering it, for acquiring the target, for safe handling, for different training purposes. This can definitely be used for training purposes, and always make sure that it is unloaded. Verify that before you use it for training. But you can practice things like indexing. You can practice safe positioning. You can practice drawing it and returning it to a holster. So that's another. I almost just went inside the trigger guard, broke my own rule, or broke a safety rule. So that's another option that you can use this for. So everyone, thank you for watching, and please be safe and hit subscribe. And the video is done, and I am shutting this off in 3, 2, 1.